Okay, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about some disk utilities that we need to discuss. And this is going to show us how to see how much disk space is being used versus how much is free, the size of our disks. One of the commands that we're going to talk about is going to be used with sudo because it can actually destroy data on your disk, so we need to be very careful about that. But we're not going to get too deep. Like I said, this is the basics playlist, and we will go further into detail on some of these commands in a later video on the advanced series. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is df. If we did a man df, okay, and basically it just reports on the system drive space. We will go ahead and quit out of that. So if we just do a df and hit enter, it's going to show a whole bunch of gobbledygook. We got the file system type over here, blocks, amount used, available, percentage that's used, and where those partitions are mounted on. However, if we do a df-h, which means human readable, it cleans it up a little bit. We still have our file systems over here. We have their size and human readable sizes, like this is 763 megs, using 2 megs. The available space, and we're using 1% of this particular mount point. Okay, now we can filter this out a little bit. This is especially helpful in Red Hat based Linux distributions because they like to mount everything separately even though they are all on the same disk. So let's say I don't want to see these here that say tempfs. Well, we break out our trusty friend grep and a pipeline. So to do that, we do df-h, and you've probably seen me do this in other videos, but we're going to discuss it a little bit more in depth here. And then we'll pipe that to grep-v, and we want to do tempfs. Okay, so let's break this down. Control L to clear the screen. I want to do that same previous df-h command we did. We're going to pipe it to grep. The -v means exclude or omit. So we're going to ignore anything that comes back that has tempfs in it. That way when we hit enter, all those tempfs's are gone. We do have this EFI var fs. Let's say we want to get rid of all the fs's and not just the tempfs's. I just change that to fs. Control to clear the screen. And when I hit enter, they're all gone. The only other thing that's in here is the NVMe part, okay, which is the hard drive itself. I have an NVMe in this computer that we're working on here. Okay, this is usually what you're looking for when you use the df-h command. It does show you everything just in case, but most of the time you're probably looking for this line right here. We're using the size is 234 gigs. We're using 11 out of that size with 211 gigs left. We're using 5%. So this is literally saying that Linux Mint is using 11 gigs of drive space. That's literally what that is saying. Okay. So what we can do here is we're going to go ahead and Control L, and we are going to use the next command, which is du, or disk usage. If we hit that, it's going to throw a bunch of stuff up, and you didn't get to read any of it. So we're going to Control L, and we're going to modify this a little bit. We're going to do a -s for summary and h for human readable. Now, it's going to assume that you're talking about the current directory that you're in. So when we hit enter, it's going to say that all the files and folders in this directory, all these folders that you see here, and all the files included in it is taking up 151 megabytes of space. Well, we could take it a little bit further, and let's say I want to see how much disk space is being used in the text directory. When I hit that, now it's only 12K. The rest of that 151 megs is somewhere else. Probably in the cache directory. Okay, so yeah, that's going to be our usage for the basics list. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is going to be fdisk, and we have to be careful with this. We're going to try to do this without sudo to see if it allows us to do it, because we really don't want to change anything. Basically what I want to do though is I want to get a list of partitions. So fdisk-l and hit enter. It's not going to let me because I have to be sudo to do it. And that's what we're looking for. We're not going to do anything more with fdisk with this because you can really destroy some things in here. But what this is saying is that our NVMe, our first partition, or the drive itself, is 465 gigs. Technically, it's 500 gig drive. This is its model number. So if you have a computer and you want to replace the drive with the exact same kind of drive, you can copy and paste that into Google and it will tell you exactly what kind of drive that is. In fact, let's do that. Go to google.com and I can paste this in here. When I hit that, it tells me that it is a Crucial P3 500 gig M.2 2280. So if we needed to buy another one exactly like it, or we wanted to because we knew that it worked in the system, we can. Okay, and it tells you what the label type is on here. This is formatted GPT versus DOS. We'll get into that later in a different video. We also have another one in here that's a 2550 micron 256. This is the default drive that come with the computer, with the Dell, and this is one I added later. So it's got 2 drives in it. Excuse me. All right, and then of course down here it will tell you the partitions that is in here. The fact that this one ends at disk identifier and does not include this block here just simply means that this drive is not formatted. We're not actually even using that drive currently. It's in there because in the advanced playlist we will use it. I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to take that in the advanced playlist. We're going to, just as a spoiler, we're going to take this 256 and we're going to expand it out by an additional 500 gigs. Just saying. But in here it says that I have a 512 meg EFI system partition, and then the rest of the system is on the rest of the drive. That's all that's saying there. So I'm going to Control L, and the last one I want to talk about is ls block. Ls block will pull up this map like this right here. It shows that this drive is installed but not being used. It's not mounted on anything. This drive has these 2 partitions on it, and this partition is mounted on boot EFI. This partition here, which is 238 gigs, is mounted on the root of the disk. And that's going to do it for this video for disk usage for basics, CLI basics playlist. Again, this can get far more complicated, and we will expand on that once we get to the CLI advanced playlist. If you're curious and you want to know more, make sure you click like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you're notified when we actually do talk more in depth on some of these commands, and we will see you next time.